Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's the ESL NA Weekly Finals number 237, and we have the GSL champ, the man of the hour with that new dad energy, looking unstoppable lately. It is Dark. And interestingly, he took a second to build that drone. So I think he was thinking about doing a 16 hatchery, but he's decided to do the extractor cancel to go above supply. Obviously, the drone, when it becomes the building, does kind of, lose a supply and go into that, and then come out, allowing him to do this 15-15 opening with a very fast hatchery. He wants to get advantage of those gold minerals as quickly as possible. His opponent at the bottom left side of the map, it's Shopify Rebellion's BYUN. And dare I say, is BYUN actually an underdog today? Normally, these two go 50-50. If you look at their record, it's almost always just like one of them gets ahead by 1 or 2 series, then the other one wins 2 or 3 series. It just goes back and forth. They always end up at that 50% win rate. But recently, Dark has taken an unprecedented lead. He's up 53 wins, 50 losses. Oh my lord, can you believe it? He's getting close to a 52% win rate on BYUN. Now that's kind of wild, but to be fair, it feels like it's almost due for BYUN to just win a few series in a row because of that. If it wasn't for the fact that Dark is ripping everyone's heads off their shoulders, beating Clam, beating Maru, and those two are by far and away the best TvZ players in the world, dominating Cure regularly. He's just looking like he's got a level of confidence he hasn't shown for a while. And what I find most scary is he's playing Ling Bane most games. Occasionally he'll mix in some roaches, but he used to just die every time he was trying to go Ling Bane. And I've said it before, like his Ling Bane play is really weak because his openings are just bad. Like Dark's openings, he gets supply blocked constantly. But recently, he's doing really vicious Ravager Ling all-ins. When he is playing Roach, it's often for an all-in. He's just getting easy victories over Terrans, catching them off guard. So they're all really paranoid when they play him. But then he's also rushing like double upgrades and beating them in macro games. So it's this kind of nice whole gamut. All these different things the Terrans have to worry about when they're playing against Dark right now. And I think that's part of his success. There's not just one trick. It's not just he's going to make roaches every game like back when he was playing Cave Bob style. It's not just, oh, he's going to just go double upgrade Ling Bane. It's like there's so much variety. And as always, Dark has that it factor, that ability to make comebacks, that ability to know how to win in the later stages, and some of the best multi-prong for ripping down a Terran when they're trying to turtle up. So BYUN's going to have to bring his A game today. Last time he played on this map, I think it was against a Rainer? Was it Rainer? Or was it Dark? I remember BYUN played a series recently with Cast, but he didn't look too great on this map. He did like a +2 vehicle weapons 8 racks all in. It was a bizarre build order. Ooh, oh my gosh, he almost got a drone, dude. I'm glad it's not just me who takes big damage sometimes on this opening. I feel like if you're not playing really high-level players, you shouldn't take much damage. But actually, he goes Creep Tumor first. Over 15-15, you almost always go Inject first. That is different. Reaper's going to rotate left. He was going to send the drone down to take a third, but he brings it back. Reaper's out here denying any attempt for a third. And dude, this supply block on 36 is appallingly bad. This is a really bad opening for Dark. That Reaper not only did direct damage by wasting a bunch of mining time and getting all those drones to run in circles, he's also got Dark to be distracted. So Dark is copping a terrible supply block to start the series. Of course, it's Dark, so he will not get thrown off. He will not get phased. Small mistakes are just par for the course for Dark, as BYUN goes for the third command center behind it. Factory coming up, second gas in the main base. You know, it's kind of cool because I remember for a while when a lot of people were getting used to the commentary on this channel, there's a lot of new viewers coming in. I mean, there's still new viewers all the time, and welcome. Thank you for the positive comments. Really appreciate you all hanging out. But I remember so many people were like, wow, Pig really hates Dark. And you guys got to realize, like, I think he is something truly special. I think Dark is probably one of the most talented players to play the game. I think he's one of the few players who in his current form may be able to beat Cyril at the World Championship next month. So I love Dark. For me, when I speak critically of him, I'm simply, number one, pointing out there are, like, what for any other player would be basic, easy to fix fundamental errors that seem to just be baked into his play on a level that he cannot get rid of. And it's the fact that if he didn't, have those supply blocks, one can only imagine how scary he would be. I mean, we're talking about a different level of Zerg. Remember, the last time he played Maru in a GSL finals, he didn't get supply blocked, and it was a crazy series. I think didn't Maru, like, not the last one that Dark won, but the one before that. Was it a year or two ago? It was a while ago, but it was a very close series. I can't remember if he won or lost it. I imagine he lost it because Maru just wins so many GSLs, but I remember it was like a very scary Dark that doesn't get supply. I think it was the one where Maru kept hitting him with timing attacks on Ancient Cistern and stuff like that. There was a lot of SCV cutting, really clever timing attacks, and Maru just kept killing his Ling Bane. even though Dark wasn't getting supply blocked very much. It was like very surprising, super committed all-ins, and they kept catching Dark off guard. Now, speaking of all-ins, this would be the perfect map for BYUN to hit one, because that is very fast double upgrades. Upgrades started at about 450, which means the Evo started before 430. These are like 4-minute 20 double Evo. Lair, second and third gas on the way right now. He's going to take a fourth hatchery as well, so Dark is recovering that economy really nice. Nothing like the phase. You can hear me speed up speaking there because I knew I was about to sneeze. And I just barely got to the mute button in time. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. That one came out of nowhere. Oh, okay. Cloaked Banshee harass. Going to come in. This is a pretty quick third command center. So this is not the fastest Banshee. And finding Spore Crawlers, you're not going to get too much damage done. Good Spore trick. Real good Spore trick. He's going to try and catch the rally because, look, he can't actually see the Banshee here. Oh, transfusing the rallying drones. 1 transfuse, 2, 3. 4? Oh my lord, 4 or 5 transfuses there, and the Banshee does end up eventually getting one of the drones, but only one when it could have got 2 or maybe 3 otherwise. Sees the Overseer morphing and BYUN will back away. Hellions poke in. I'm not sure if they got anything else. I don't think so. It says only 2 drones dead on the left. Now the 1-1 upgrades, remember that especially the +1 attack, these were a bit late for BYUN. These weren't the fastest. They're not crazy slow, but they are delayed, especially compared to Dark's. Now Dark's already going very early Hydra Den. 4th base is there. He hasn't droned it just yet, but you got to realize this is only 12 workers and he's missing a gas, which means he should already have maybe 8. Is it 8 workers? 9 workers on this base on just 68. So he's going to start massing up units. Now this gold base is a joke, guys. If you can only defend that if you've already got the game over. Like it's just do not even take that base as a Zerg. Dark's going to take it because his name is Dark, but I hope he also expands to the top and is willing to give this one up, because if you fight on that ramp, it's an easy spot for Terran to set up an optimal fight. 2-2 starting immediately. I love it. Dark is very aware of this advantage and he wants to keep it going. He's going to build a handful more drones. Hydra getting groove spans and muscular organs both queued up straight away. Baneling speed as well. And BYUN just kind of chilling. So is BYUN macroing, guys? 4th command center at 7 minutes. So this is a 4th command center after going 5 barracks and 2nd factory. Old school. Very old school. Is it going to be double tank or does he go Widow Mines? I'd like to see Widow Mines mixed in. He goes vehicle weapons. It's going to be tanks again. Dude, he's so obsessed with vehicle weapons lately. It's fascinating to see BYUN, because this has never really been the sort of style he plays. I do like this setup. Easy fight on this gold base, I think. Dark should not try and defend that. Dark doesn't even know it's there. He's going to find out only now. And that's going to be a cancel. Creep comes in, clears a little bit of that creep. Now, I always feel if you really want to force a fight with the Zerg, you need to start kind of going through this middle area. And because there's no Ravages, that can work quite well. But there are Hydras coming out, 12 of those building. They've already got Groove Spines, and Muscular Augments is on the way. He hasn't reinforced in a while. He's a little bit worried about a counterattack. BYUN's not that committed right now. I'd like to see him potentially back away from this area. It's a little scary once Baneling speed kicks in. Actually, you know what the problem is? BYUN doesn't know about 2-2. He has no idea about the double evos. So he really has no info on the game state in terms of like what his opponent's doing. And that means 2-2 is going to kick in a minute early. I guarantee you Dark forces a fight, 2-2 versus 1-1. He understands that advantage. He's massing units. He's not droning hard. He's just making army. Ooh, Marines do pull back. So the creep is getting denied. And look, Dark's like kind of doing a poor job of defending creep. Hasn't been able to defend this 5th base, which has already been cancelled once. Looks like it could easily get cancelled again if BYUN just moves over there. But he's not reinforcing his force. Double drop goes down the right side. And 2-2's about to finish. Dark is just trying to preserve his army. That's all Dark's trying to do, is just preserve his army, not take bad fight. Look at the units lost tab. He's like, that's annoying. But annoying will not lose you the game. Hydras clean up the Banshee on the left. He's taking a new 5th base up there, so at least he does have a 5th base coming in. 2-2's kicking in. 2-2's kicking in. He wants to fight. He's got Hive on the way. 42 more Zerglings building. 17 Banelings. 97 2-2 Lings. 12 Hydras. He's just going to go for it. He knows he's got the upgrade advantage. BYUN has not reinforced this army in minutes. BYUN should not still be out here, especially not with a double upgrade disadvantage. And this is also happening seconds before +1 vehicle weapons finishes. Double drop does go in the right side. Those medevacs, they do save those units. The double drop on the right side is going to try and get in, but the Lings with the double upgrade advantage do so well against those Marines. And Dark realizes he's got the advantage. He's going to morph more banelings in the middle of the map. It's the classic Dark morphing. Normally does it outside their base. This time he's doing it in the middle of the map, a little bit more conservative, which I love. The Marine tank over there. He's got to unload these Marines from these medevacs. Command center lifts. You got to pull back right now. BYUN feels like he can establish the 4th base. I don't know if he can. He's only got 1 tank here. 3 tanks over to the left side, but he needs those Marines to fight with the tanks as well. He focuses a few banelings down. SCVs rallying through the fight. Not the best situation. The banelings, there's just too many. The Marines are deep in the red and orange. The tanks are all going down in the north of our screen. A bunch of Marines fall in the south. A tank rallies out to the opening, and Dark says, I'm just going to rush 1-1 and then laugh at you, mate. 36 supply block, be damned. It's bad if I get hit by a really crisp 7-minute timing attack and I've made mistakes like that 36 supply block. But otherwise, it's perfectly fine. Just stunning. Massive army upgrade advantage, and that is huge. Before we go to the next here, I do want to check that 36 supply block really quickly, because it seems like a weird one to hit when you're doing a 15-15, but he didn't double inject, which is also really weird when you're playing 15-15. Yeah, I mean, this first Reaper completely threw him off his game. He builds a 3rd queen, doesn't build a 4th one. That's odd for a 15-15. Normally you go for a queen, but he just completely forgets his Overlord while he's microing this. I mean, it's kind of cool that Dark's one of us, but dude's still not building an Overlord? Oh my lord. And then his inject pops. And he only now starts the Overlord a few seconds before the inject pops. You might be thinking, well, he's not supply block, Pig. Yeah, he is though, guys. He's building extra Overlords. But you're going to see here, he's got a lot of lava available. And what's he doing? You might be like, well, he has no minerals. Yeah, that's because he's building 3 Overlords at once. So he is quite slow on spending this lava. Does end up being not too far behind. I mean, but that's purely because he skipped the inject in the main. And yeah, I don't know. Feels like a suboptimal opening to me. I got to once again look at this and go, man, Serral's openings are much cleaner than this. I've been waiting for Raynor or Dark to show they can do a 15-15 as well as Serral, and they can occasionally do a good one, but it just feels like it's never quite as crisp. You guys, let me know if you see a game where you think they play a perfect 15-15. You think it's an awesome opening. Let me know in the comments. I'll go check those out because I'm really looking to see if anyone else can match the opening build variety of Serral right now. Dark, he's mixed in some really good openings, but I think his best openings are off Hatch Gas Pool, so I really hope he does that in game 2. All right, now going into the next map, it's going to be Oceanborn Dark on the top left side. Swarming game 1 like an absolute monster. And down here on the bottom right side, it is BYUN. Just getting swarmed. I think holding position in the middle of the map like that is good to do for maybe a minute. But you should always have a timer in your head as turn where, especially if you're not non-stop reinforcing that army, you just pull it back. If you're not actively forcing a fight, leaving your army in the open like that, it presents an opportunity for your opponent to pick the fight when they want it, when it favors them. And that's exactly what Dark did. 2-2 versus 1-1. Took advantage. The fact that BYUN also hadn't reinforced his army in those minutes was really bad. He had a double drop going out the right side. He had like a few units starting to move forward from home, but they weren't there for the fight. So it was double upgrade disadvantage, and essentially BYUN's army fought just a little bit at a time, and that's always bad. Now this is a 16 hatchery, so it looks like a hatch gas pool. Yeah, you can see he's already rallied. 16th worker to minerals, 17th to gas, 18th to spawning pool. And this is the build which I think Dark has the best opening build variety on. I think it just suits him better. It's a more generalistic opening than the 15-15. 15-15 is a planning build. It's an optimization build, something that suits Serral's style much better. Whereas this build is kind of a one-size-fits-all. Like hatch gas pool, it's essentially I get link speed, I get a 3rd hatchery, and I can do anything from there. Sometimes don't even make link speed. Just go for a roach horn, go roaches, right? He'll do that off this opening sometimes. Just leave the gas sitting there, but it looks like it's going to be link speed, so the Terran has to respect that option. On the other side, Command Center first goes down for BYUN, and it looks like double gas. So he wants to build a second... barracks? Gas, second barracks. Oh, interesting. I normally when I see the double gas so quickly, I'm thinking factory, but this could be like a quick 2-1-1. Off a Command Center first. You can actually still do a 2-1-1 crazy efficiently, actually. You can hit a bit earlier and have a way bigger economy and a faster 3rd command center behind it. So I do like this. I think it's a pretty good build order. He could even build a 3rd barracks. It's just if he was going 3rd barracks, why would he have 2 gases? Doesn't really make sense because that's more of a mineral focused build. The fact that he's doing 2 barracks and double gas means he wants to get that factory. And I wouldn't be surprised if he builds that any moment now. I guess you don't need it that early, actually. This is a bit early. As long as he builds it by, say, 2:45, the factory goes down, I think he'll be fine. And he actually uses the same SCV, so that's really optimal. So he's not pulling a worker off minerals and disrupting his mining. This is one of these little details that I remember Innovation was one of the first, where you'd be like, oh, you know, oh, he could build the barracks now, but he'd wait for the SCV to pop out and build it with that one. Like, he'd try to leave his minerals as uninterrupted as possible. You'd see other players just pulling workers on and off minerals all game, and it would actually have a very significant slowdown on that mineral income. It's kind of exciting, man, to just be casting so much StarCraft. I've been playing a lot of other games recently, but today I got back on the ladder and had like the saltiest ladder session ever. And I'm actually so keen to hop on tomorrow and just like grind some builds and like practice. This is the great thing about StarCraft. Playing other games, like, they have advantages over StarCraft. Like, I'm talking about old games, new games, a whole mix of different RTSs I've been playing. And this was always my goal this year, was to play a few more games. And it kind of only took me now the last month or two when I finally started really doing it. But it gives you such perspective on StarCraft and makes you appreciate it so much more. This is the thing, whenever there is this weird thing StarCraft viewers have sometimes. They're like, why are you playing other games? Why do you hate StarCraft? Why? You're only allowed to play StarCraft. And I'm like, dude, you really appreciate the engine, just how clean the movement is in StarCraft, but also like the kind of unique balance of micro versus macro that StarCraft has compared to many other games where they're like all micro or almost all macro, or just like a bit more tilted one way or the other. And I found it just gives me fresh eyes on StarCraft strategies as well, where I kind of look at things and compare them to other games. And sometimes it just helps you think outside the box. It reminds me of when Scarlet played a bunch of StarCraft Remastered, and instantly she got so good because she's such a talented gamer. And she came back with like fresh strategies and just started winning things and stuff and doing really well in online tournaments. And it's this perspective you gain sometimes. You get a little bit of distance, gives you fresh lens for looking at the game. But anyways, it is that 2-1-1 I talked about. Third command center goes down at 420, which is, you know, that's a good timing. For a 2-1-1, that's a crazy good timing. So the double medevacs are going to kick out. And I guess we kill the Overlord. Yeah, notice the Marines move out. Medevacs spot the high ground. And then we're going to pick up into the medevacs and move across. Or we're just going to walk. We're just going to walk. Fair enough. Why bother loading and unloading just 2 screens forward? Dark's going quick carapace. Now, he's gone 8 queens. He's got 55 drones. So he got to 55 drones, you know, reasonably early. I wasn't really paying attention to his supply blocks or anything. So if he did mess up in the builds, I'll you know, if it seems... Oh, he's supply blocked pretty bad now on 82. He should be building about 5 Overlords. He's got a ton of money. He needs to build many Overlords right now. He's pulled back his other Overlords, so he's not losing any others. He's got 9 queens. Now he's got every queen on one control group. This is a habit of Dark that does cost him sometimes. He's injecting with queens that were just about to get transfuse energy, even though he has 2 more queens popping out. I think he's fine, though. I think he's fine. Because he's got 11 queens now, and he's going to build like 40 Zerglings. Well, I mean, he's fine, but... what's he doing economically? I mean, he's on 3 mineral lines, but actually this base is undersaturated. This base is slightly undersaturated. He desperately needs a 4th and more drones. Like, his economy's so low. Is Dark doing some sort of all-in? And if so, what the heck is it? It feels like he thinks this is a 2-base timing. Oh, he does. He thinks this is a 2-base timing from BYUN. He doesn't, he literally is just assuming that BYUN's 2-base. Oh no. Dark's building 65 Zerglings off just 50 drones. Yes, he's got a macro hatchery on the way, but he needs a 4th base. 4th base only now starting at 6 minutes. He's sitting on equal workers with a Terran, which is never great. I mean, yes, the 3rd's a bit slow to float down, but it's going to go down there now. 3 barracks are up. Double upgrades. 4th and 5th barracks building their reactors. Armory goes down. BYUN does not want to be behind in upgrades this time around. And I think this is a very playable position for BYUN because he's going to have a nice upgrade lead. Well... to be fair, Carapace is the most important upgrade by far for Zerg, because it allows the Banelings and the Zerglings to actually get on top of the Terran, which is probably more important than their melee damage, but melee is going to be very far behind. Drop just picking off whatever it can. +2 Carapace, +1 melee start at the same time. 4th and 5th reactor now coming up. 3rd base is landed. I like the safety tanks. 1 in the natural, 1 in the high ground of the main. Very safe play here for BYUN. And do we see 3 more barracks? We're going to 8 racks this? Because this is one thing I think Oliveira does better than anyone else. He makes up his mind much earlier about if he's going to 8 racks or go for a macro build. And if he goes for a macro build, that 4th command center starts at about 6 minutes. So this is about a minute later. It's still pretty well timed. I wouldn't say this is bad for BYUN. I'd just say it's not as optimized as Oliveira, that's all. Single Marine goes down, but still picking off Zerglings. The creep spread hasn't been great either because the Marines have been so active. So even though he's not killing a lot of units directly, he is trading well, number 1, and he's most importantly keeping the creep back. So the map control here is very limited for Dark. He's just going to keep dropping. BYUN's just looking for these free value moments. Queens are respreading creep rather than coming up here right now. One queen will get a few hits on the medevac, though. So check it out, guys. Second factory, 3 more barracks, only after 4th command center. So this is a big sign of a macro play. Also, 2-2s on the way at a pretty good time. These guys are going to come in, but good hot pickups. I think BYUN plays full macro. I would not be surprised to see BYUN build a 5th command center shortly. And I think that would actually be one of the best plays. He might be a little afraid after last game where Dark hit him with that nice upgrade timing, though. Oh, it does leave a few Marines behind. That medevac almost dying. I'll leave one medevac there. Careful. Dark's on point with defending this. Just keeps on dropping. Spore Crawler's going to move over here. BYUN is being a nuisance, but, you know, 800 resource advantage, it's not big. Macro matters much more than anything else in this sort of game. You can pick off a few thousand resources. It's not going to be that big of a dent, right? You're earning 3,500 minerals a minute as the Zerg, 2,500 as Terran, more when he's actively dropping mules. But right now he's not. He's just kind of building infrastructure, scanning creep, slowing things down. Marines coming on this side. Transfuse is good. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Yeah, you don't want to stay too deep because the medevac will die. Oh, BYUN, no, no, no. Oh, Dark realizes he's not looking. And no, he's not watching. Oh, my lord. Barely gets that drop out of there. Wow, that was a scary moment, that it was. +1 range coming in for Dark. So I think, Muscular Augments, Hive, and Lurker Den. Okay, so we're just going to play Lingbane, Hydra, Lurker, which is not a bad style. He's already got these 14 Hydras out. And 2-2, or I guess, should be going +2 melee on that Evo chamber, but hasn't queued it up yet. Double drop comes in on this side. Ooh, gotta be careful. There's Hydras coming in. Queens as well. Queens from the back, Hydras from the front. No escape here. No escape. Nowhere to go. Not a good drop. Double medevac goes down for free. Bit of a waste. If he did that while other things were happening, would have had more value. But now the creep's starting to get out there. Dark's getting a bit more creep control. I do think Dark could do a better job of spreading that creep. But for BYUN, it's clearly a turtle late game. And we get to see how well he can do that. Ghost Academy goes down. 5th command center. Only now dropping a 5th command center. It feels like he's late on the extra command centers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he is at 85 workers is BYUN. And he's going to play Ghost Tank. He's got 2 factory. He's already got the Ghosts coming. Ghosts are good, but you don't want too many. Just a handful of Ghosts to deal with the spellcasters. And I guess you can snipe Lurkers as well, but it's always a bit twitchy. Now, siege tanks are spreading. It's important to leave a few more units down here and wall this off. So this is one of the things, is the tank spread's good right now, but you want to get a planetary up here, and if you can get a planetary out here as well, it's actually way more important than the planetary in this base because it guards the siege tanks. That way they work together. Otherwise, you need to leave a pack of maybe 16 Marines, 2 medevacs to help clean up Zerglings. Yeah, so notice he splits these guys to the left. These guys can cover the right, and then he can probably lift out one of these command centers to that right side in a little bit. Take a 5th base over there. So BYUN's just looking to slow things down. He's made concussive. His 3-3 hasn't started yet. Whereas +3 carapace and +2 melee do come in. A couple queen snipes. Not bad. Not bad at all. Rock's being taken down. Dark's taking 3 hatcheries. Okay, so it's dawning on him that BYUN is playing a turtle game. Problem. So basically, guys, Dark has... You guys know how I talk a lot about how mining bases out damages your opponent. You guys may remember Cyril vs. Oliveira from Dallas actually showed the most advanced usage of this anyone's ever done. Ghost River, map 1, started mining out the 5th base in the corner, or you could even argue it's the 4th base of Oliveira from about 9 minutes in the game. And that was one of the fastest we've ever seen anyone do it. Now, other players have started to do this, Raynor as well, but Raynor and Dark are both very inconsistent. Even when the Terran's clearly just sitting there building sets of towers, tanks, and turrets, and I love these turrets, by the way, because they're stopping the Overlords getting in, which means you can't spot for the Overseer. Yeah, 4 turrets, you can't get past that, there's no way. But BYUN's clearly turtling, and you think, well, cool, yeah, so why are you sounding critical, Pig? Dark realizes he's going to mine these bases out. The reason is he's not. He'll take the hatcheries and do nothing with it. I'm gonna lay this prediction out there. I know it's a wild prediction to make. It's not. I watch a lot of Dark's games, guys. He does not do what he's supposed to do in that scenario. Double of ducks there, killing the medevac, which is nice. So once these bases are up, you're meant to immediately grab the workers from these safe bases. Grab 20 workers from here, move them to this base. 20 workers from your natural, move them to this base. 20 workers from one of these top bases, move them to this base. You know, you've got the bank to do it. You're floating thousands of resources, losing a little bit of mining time as you move your workers around is not a problem. You may have to abandon one of those bases, but every 5 minerals you mine is 5 minerals damage to BYUN because he won't be able to mine those in the future. It is absolutely the easiest way to win from this position as Dark, and you want to do it now while BYUN's still getting set up. Now, there's a lot of people who watch my games, and they always say, you're wrong, and I always encourage people to argue with me and like make points and put timestamps and just explain why, so we can have a discussion, we can all learn, because I don't know everything about StarCraft. I speak confidently about StarCraft, and every now and then people tell me I'm wrong, and if they have a good enough reason to say why, I will absolutely admit it, and I will learn, and that's all part of the process. But anyway, we'll get back to that later. Blinding Clouds coming on the tanks, Banelings rolling on the planetaries, no Marines here. Remember what I was talking about earlier? There was no anti-Zergling on this side. The Bio Ghost comes in a bit too late. 10 SCVs and a couple of command centers just went down. He just lost 2 planetaries. That's a disaster. The front planetary should have been a little bit further in front. That was a mistake. Marines run forward in the north. They're unable to get through the Queens on that side. Great trade for Dark. You might be thinking, great trade. What are you talking about, Piggies? 2,000 resources behind, almost 2.5. Yes, but he's got money. And slowing BYUN down from getting these bases locked off is huge. Because if BYUN gets 2 planetaries with 4 tanks and a few Widow Mines or Marines and Ghosts around, you can't keep doing that without taking crazy bad trades. 2,000 resource deficit, not the end of the world. As long as he keeps mining gas, he'll be good. He's still not mining these bases. This is what I'm talking about. It's this moment in the game. So anyway, back to the point I was saying. People say, oh, well, look, he can't mine them. And they'll reference 20 minutes in the game when the Terran can actually punish it. Remember, he took these at 11 minutes. They were finished. It's now 13.5 minutes. He hasn't mined these bases out. This is such an obvious strategic misplay from Dark. And that's why I'll harp on about it. Until he fixes this, I'm going to keep talking about it. And people don't like me criticizing players because they want me to just hero worship. Sorry, guys. Never going to happen. Wrong channel for that. Planetary is going to go down to the Zerglings. Oh, is it though? Is it though? The repair's very late, but BYUN does get on it. Oh, he didn't have building armor. He didn't have building armor yet. I mean, you're not normally going to have building armor at 14 minutes, but if he repaired that 2 seconds earlier, he saves that planetary. That was a big mistake for BYUN. He was distracted up top. The Lurker Knight is sieged on the north at the same time he's hitting the south. This is really good play for Dark. And this is what I'm talking about. Dark is one of the best players in the world. He's so good with his multi-prong at picking players apart. If he can get a Nidus in the back, it's going to be so hard for BYUN. BYUN needs to click on these. He needs to click on these. Do not let those changelings in your main base. I don't think he's noticed them. He's too busy dealing with the attack on the front. The command center is trying to rebuild. But notice, once you kill the command centers, it takes so long to rebuild them. They're never ready for the next wave. Trying to save tanks. Amazing micro for BYUN. He does manage to save those tanks. He does manage to get those. But Dark just cleaning up these buildings. And look, he's got changelings in. Oh no, he's got changelings in. He's going to pop a Nidus Worm to delay this base because that'll spread creep, which will take a while to dissipate as well. Yes, you're behind 2,700 resources and units lost, but I don't think that matters. If you get those changelings into the main and start popping Nidus Worms there, maybe behind the natural as well, that could be massive. +3 melee, +3 ranges on the way. We've got vehicle plating on the way. +2 weapons is already done. No +3 though. There are a few Zerglings here underground. If we don't scan for those, that's going to be an issue. And how many command centers have we lost, guys? 3 planetaries, 1 command center. And there's a bunch of other command centers he's had to cancel because he keeps trying to rebuild them, but they're dying as they're building. And that is a huge problem. 66 Banelings are making. Dark is still not using any of these bases. This has been a 4.5 minute window now where he could have mined thousands of resources directly from BYUN's side of the map. Hasn't taken advantage of it. It's a big misplay for Dark, but it's in the midst of so many plays that are right. That's just Dark in a nutshell. There's a few things that are nasty wrong, but there's so much that's right, man. And once again, is that cost effective directly? Cost for cost? No. Is it cost effective considering the situation? Yes, it is worth it to take those bad trades. And oh, he's got the main. Was this with the changeling? No, Overseer got by. I don't know how that Overseer got by. Maybe it went down the right side. Maybe it got in there. But it does end up getting shot down. Nidus Worm is here. He's going to try and pop out the Lurkers. A bit of a dangerous pop. A lot of Lurkers are going to go down. But he does get 2 Ghosts. A Marauder, 2 Ghosts go down. Yeah, a couple of depots burning. Don't think that was particularly worth it. Actually, the last Lurker is still there. Siege tank. Is it not in range? The scan ran out. Oh, and another attack on the left side. Blinding Cloud's coming in. Nice snipes on the Viper. But this is just a huge problem because BYUN just can't fully stabilize. Oh, the tanks. They're not guarded. Oh, the planetary will help protect a few Marines. 2 siege tanks going down. Maybe 3, actually. In total, it looks like 11 siege tanks have died this game. That's not counting friendly fire siege tank kills, so it's probably even more than that as more Lurkers, Lings, and Banes come in. I mean, Dark's just drowning him. Dark is finally transferring workers, so he only does this as his bases mine out, and that's the big problem. Because these bases, you can always transfer workers back to later, but such a big misplay to take these hatcheries and not drone them. It is a very big misplay. Makes you wonder if Dark would ever lose a late game if he actually built that in. If he actually started mining his opponent's bases when he takes the hatcheries, because it's like he's heard that this is a good thing, but he just pays lip service to it and just forgets to transfer the drones. He's so good with the multi-frogger, it probably doesn't matter. BYUN is getting overrun in this game. The Bio Ghost tank, he's just outnumbered. He needs more Marines to deal with the Zerglings, and then that would allow the tanks and Ghosts to deal with the Lurkers, but he doesn't quite have the numbers, and you can just see how difficult it is to hold on to any position at all. Units lost have 7,000 resources in favor of BYUN, but Dark is finally starting to mine those middle bases. Dark's building spine crawlers. What are we... Why are we building spines and spores? Dark, I think he over-droned and he's like, let's spend that mineral somehow. Might as well just build some static in the middle of the map. We can up against like libs and stuff. 17 Swarmos. Oh, Dark, you meme lord. Guys, I have a... I had a blog that went kind of semi-viral in the StarCraft scene back in the day. 2014, I want to say. I think it was like early mid-heart of the Swarm, maybe. Called Swarm Hosts Are Imba vs. Bio. And this was very controversial because people were like, no, they're terrible versus Bio. Bio's too fast. This was the old Swarm Host, but in effect, it was the same unit. It was very different in that it didn't have the flying locusts. They just kind of rallied out on the ground, but they shot twice as often. So they start as landed locusts, but they shoot twice as regularly. So it's more of a constant stream of locusts. So you can just siege your opponent. And I basically started using this Swarm Host Infesta kind of style. And a lot of people told me it was really bad. And about a year later, Snoot started using it with Ling Bane instead of with Roach Infesta, and showing that it was actually really good. And like even the top Koreans were really struggling the first like dozen or so times they played against it. He was destroying them. And the thing is, that was revolutionary then. And it was revolutionary in that it was a bit of a meme. And it probably wasn't good if the Terran played perfectly. That's, to be honest, like that's my feeling of it. I need to go back and look at the games, but I don't think it was really that good. I think Terrans are just not good at handling it because it forced a very fierce set of reactions. In this case, at this level, going Swarmos is the meme of all memes. It is so incredibly silly, but they are free units, and BYUN's already so far behind. Any trade you could say is a good trade, and it's Dark swapping from playing mass Baneling into Siege Tank Planetary, which is of course being cost inefficient, to saying, hey, I have free units. How about I use those free units? He's going to pop out the Swarm Host down here and throw a big wave in. If he can get rid of these tanks on the edge, could be massive. You can also just keep targeting like Planetaries, tanks, anything you can find. Here we go. He's going to go for the Planetary. He's going to go for the Planetary. If he lands all at once around that Planetary, oh, he goes in a few at a time, but the Siege Tank Friendly Fire actually does a lot to the Planetary. Oh my lord, the +3 Locusts obliterate that Planetary Fortress. And that is the power of Locust DPS. Now they've got a 40-second cooldown, so it's a very slow burn. But now you're saying, okay, I'm behind 7,000 resources. Maybe I can close that gap using these free units. Spines and spores slowly getting pushed back. He's finally mining this top base. So he could have been mining these middle bases for at least 8 minutes in this game, which is most of the base mined out, by the way. If he transferred. I like to just check in and remind you guys. And this is not a I'm right. This is the reason Serral is so much better than every other Zerg. And it's the reason why Maru struggles with him is no one else plays like Serral. Serral has started doing this stuff perfectly. He's ahead of the game, ahead of the meta. And guys like Dark are god tier right now. But if he's unwilling to study Serral and make those adjustments, I do wonder. I do wonder if all of this hype is going to come to nothing at the World Championship, because Serral's just going to basically have adopted more of these modern techniques that guys like Dark and a lot of the other Zergs just have not bothered to do. I say not bothered. It's very hard game, StarCraft, and there's 1,000 things you can focus on. So I don't want to be too overly critical. But I do want to point out that there is an obvious player you should be studying techniques of. And in terms of pace of game, it's these games where the Terran turtles up, where there is a lull. There's these moments where really there's no pressure on you as Dark. The only pressure is break the Terran before he gets too set up. Transferring a few workers is one of the easiest things in the world. It's not something where it's an unrealistic ask. Anyways, that's enough ranting about it this game. Dark's clearly never going to fix this. If he does, I will lose my mind. Maybe he'll do it when he gets back from the military. Who knows? Another Locust wave comes in from the north. I do love these Locusts. Oh, the friendly fire of the tanks is actually not bad. So normally Ghosts kill them and Marines before they get in range. But BYUN's struggling to max out, and he's got to keep split. And the way the Niduses choose where to fight, you can always kind of fight where the bio isn't all in one spot. Even if you just get a few Ghosts or a few tanks on each wave, it's going to be good. It's now only 6,000 resources lost difference. And this is what we're talking about, you know? As long as you're mining out some of these middle bases and you're wearing him down with Swarm Hosts, BYUN's just so low on money. He's got so little room to breathe. He's trying to build 3 more command centers. But he should have had these command centers up minutes and minutes ago. He's got to use those to scan. If he had 10 or 12 command centers, he could see these all the time. Instead, he's sometimes a little low. He's sniping Locusts. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Can he defend the tanks? Can he defend the tanks? The tanks, wow, the tanks are taking damage. I don't know if a single unit died that time. That's the thing that feels bad for Dark, because you've got 5 queens, 10 supply wasted that aren't good combat units. You've got 18 swarm hosts. That is 18 times 3, 54. I want to say 54 supply of units that whenever those locust waves, you know, are on cooldown, they're just waiting. That's not going to help you in a fight. You got 70 drones. So what's your actual army? 34 Zerglings, 14 Banes, 4 Lurkers, and 2 Vipers. It's a really small army. But when you have the Terran this defensive and turtled up, hey, I guess that's hard for him to actually answer. A couple snipes do go down. Did he just get the Vipers? Oh, he did. Nice Viper snipes from BYUN. Where are the Swarm Hosts? Daddy Swarm Hosts coming in one more time. 18 Swarm Hosts. That is 36 Locusts, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, God. You can snipe as much as you want. I don't think you're going to get rid of all of them. Oh, man. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 tanks go down. I think a couple Marines might have fallen as well. And you know what? It's just little trades like that. Might not seem like that much, but hey, we're down from 8,000 behind, 7,000 behind, 6,000, now 5,000 resources behind. Here we go, big attack in the middle. Oh, there's no planetary. There's no planetary. He just doesn't have anything here. A lot of his bios in the bottom left side of the map. It's not here to defend. Banelings trying to get on top. They do go for the siege tank, though, rather than the bio ghost. The rest of the units come in from the bottom left side. The Hydras pull back, but 29 more workers go down. And you can just see BYUN is lacking the planetaries. He's lacking the extra units here, the bits of infrastructure, the wall-offs that would allow him to hold these attacks with the sort of flying colors that he needs. And now 10,000 minerals in the back. I mean, Dark is so rich. It's so rich. And even though his army's not that big, like I said, it's such a fast army. He finds any opening, trades his army efficiently, gets in, gets out. And I really like the way Dark is playing this game. Outside of the one thing I already criticized way too much for this cast. I'm sure you guys are like, Pig, stop. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I don't like to harp on about something. Point it out and then move on. Bio Viking Ghost here. Ooh, Locusts coming in. Yeah, I think what was so stunning about that Serral game with mining it out on Ghost River is that, like, doing it 9 minutes in the game in an action-packed bio versus Lingman. It wasn't a turtle game. That's what was so bizarre. I've never seen someone do it in an action-packed game. I've only seen people do it when the Terran's, like, building 7 command centers, and Zerg's like, okay, flick the switch, go take all the forward bases and mine them. But Serral was like, hey, he's taking a 4th base. I need to go and mine out his 5th. Because this map's too small and there's not enough resources otherwise. Dude, the movement of Dark. He's just able to find openings. You can't be everywhere at once. Command centers are burning down. Hydras chasing them down. Lurkers on the rally. BYUN might just tap. Like every time he comes back, he's losing production, infrastructure, commands, and he's down to 28 workers. Tanks are getting blown up here. Yeah, he comes forward with some ghosts. The overseers aren't quite in position, and you're like, oh, well, that's a good little trade. But a good little trade in the middle of what? There's Lings getting in the production. The Lurkers finally go down. Units lost tab is only 6,000 resources ahead. We need 20, 30,000 resource lead. Otherwise, we're screwed. Look at the bank. We're down 13,500 in the bank. We're down in army supply. Yes, some of that swarmers. They're not the most efficient. Micro. Notice he just lands a few locusts on that tank. And the rest going after the planetary. He's not going to get baited by the army. BYUN's trying to defend the base. He does get baited by the army. Will BYUN pay a price for it? No. Okay, good handling by BYUN. He kind of split the locust there and managed to keep that planetary alive. Really nice play. I mean, BYUN still has one last punch here. Can he deal with 20 Hydras? And about what, 40 Lings and Banes? Dude, Dark's so smart. He's just like, look, I could fight you front on, but why would I do that? My army has mobility. I have free units, but they're not ready right now. I'm going to fight you when they're ready again. BYUN's going to try and do a bit of a base trade. So his production is in jeopardy. Ghost comes forward, snipes a Hydra. We've got units over there. Oh, my lord. Nidus in the main base. The Swarmers, do they risk popping out here? That's kind of a crazy play. If so, oh, tanks in the open! Tanks in the open! Run, run! Run, BYUN! Run, BYUN! This looks like a lot of fun for the Zerg, not for the Terran right now. This looks like a nightmare for the Terran. I mean, this is proper filthy infestation everywhere. Hydraling Bane's cracking the main. If he loses control of the main, it's just game over. Rich Depot's burning down there. That's going to go down. BYUN isn't even at max supply capability anymore. 156 out of 175. Funnily enough, Dark actually lost a lot of overlords. And 34... He lost 34 drones? I guess he's got so much money he can just rebuild that with pure army. Doesn't have an ultra cabin, interesting enough. Parasitic bomb, watch out! Oh, ow. Oh, there's 2. They're in the metamax. So many units going down. BYUN is still only had 6,000 resources and this creep control all over the map. And this is so funny because I really feel like Dark's trolling when he does stuff like this Swarm Host. And then I remember he did this in the grand finals of BlizzCon 2019. Last time he became a world champion. The only time, I guess, he's become a world champion. He was very close in 2016. But he literally went Swarm Host. And it was actually a good strategy on that map, Thunderbird. A map that was crazy good for Swarm Host Nidus. You could even pull it off against a Zerg player. But it just goes to show, because normally against a Zerg, you would not do that. Do you really want to play a strat like that that's so odd, that you don't have as much experience with, that only works on one map in a finals, in the most important match? If you're Dark, yeah. Yeah, if you think, hey, he's really turtled, let's build 18 Swarm Hosts. Other people go, oh, but I don't have a lot of practice with that. I might panic. I might make dumb decisions. Dark's like, I might make dumb decisions. And that's the mindset difference between Dark and a normal Zerg. A normal Zerg is worried about making mistakes. Dark embraces making mistakes as long as he's making his opponent make more. And that's the mindset. Oh my gosh, more Lings in the main. He can't get back. There's Lurker Viper there. The Vipers were about to abduct all of his tanks into the Lurkers. There was 80 Lings in the main. Dark doesn't need to mine those middle bases, apparently. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dark just mining up the map, sucking it up, and using fantastic breaks on these areas. I think if we wanted to point out a quote-unquote mistake for BYUN, I think it's when he lost control of his fourth the first time. Your setup there is one of the most important things, and this is where I tend to lose as well when I'm playing TvZ, but let's just very quickly analyze this. As Dark is up 2-0, man. Wow, that's... After 2 big games is like this is pretty big. So I feel like it was a few tanks and 2 planetaries, but I think the planetary was here and the banelings blow up in the middle. I could be wrong on that. Let's take a look at this first big bust. I guess it's like 12 minutes. I think BYUN's moving a lot of his units to the right side, thinking that's going to be the more exposed base. Like, this feels pretty safe. Yeah, so what I don't like about this planetary, guys, it's a bit too close. Banelings in the middle can blow up both planetaries, get a 2-for-1 value deal. You want to put this planetary out in the front a little bit. If you can, out there. I think that's a much better planetary position. Have the tanks still covering it a bit, and then you've got the double planetary. And if you've got to blow up, like, 20 Banes on one planetary, 20 Banes on another, it becomes prohibitive, especially with tanks behind it. And it just gives you a bit more spread to help protect the tanks from Zergans. Whereas at the moment, if Zergans run in here and here, those tanks are going to go down. So let's just fast forward it. The Vipers were a big problem as well, because there's no Marines and Ghosts. So look at that. Blinding Cloud on the planetary, Blinding Cloud on like 2 of the 5 tanks. Hydras get on top and abduct as well. Now, to be fair, did the Banelings really get much of the value deal? Not really. The front planetary was already mostly dead from the numbers. But yeah, the fact that all of his Marine Ghost was on the right side. See these guys up here and the rest just wasn't there. That's a mistake for BYUN. So if we want to point out the mistake, it's number 1. Look at his vision. So he should have a sensor tower probably out here as well. Maybe here just in front of that tank, just to see this a bit earlier, or some sort of spotter unit. And all of these Ghosts and Marines should be moving down to this side, because he's got heaps of vision on the right. He's got this drop up there, so he's going to have more warning, right, over there. And he's got, like, even more siege tanks on that side. So 8 siege tanks, all his Marines and Ghosts are on this side. You can never leave just tanks on their own, or Zerglings get on top of them a bit too easily. Vipers can abduct in Blinding Cloud. It's these little details that really add up. Also, wall off. Don't leave a big opening like that. If you're going to leave an opening, make sure it's a single space. Make sure it's really small. So even if he just puts a depot there or an engineering bay here, I always feel like wall offs, full wall offs, or being 90% walled off is actually so undervalued when you're turtling as a Terran, especially with siege tanks. Their extreme range is what makes them strong. You absolutely have to do anything you can to accentuate that advantage. GG, well played though. Dark's up 2-0. Well, that's a bloody awesome start, isn't it? Dark is looking great so far. And I gotta tell you, the ability to pick his fights, multi-prong, and overwhelm, fantastic. BYUN is not Maru, though. He's not like the god of late-game defensive play, but we've seen Dark do that to Maru, and we've seen him do it to him recently. A few times over the last year. It was really intermittent for a while. I was not that hyped going into the GSL finals, and the moment he opened up game 1 with that cheese, that Queen Ling drop, I was like, ooh. Hold on a second. And then, of course, we saw him just explode and look so good. And I really do feel that Dark just has a magic energy about him right now. Let's see if he can keep it going. Because remember, he did open up with some dodgy supply blocks and stuff. So let's hope he just keeps it clean and finishes this off 3-0. If he does, I mean, it'd be massive. On the other hand, as a fan of the game and not of Dark, BYUN, let's go, son. Come on, mate. If you're going to play late game, drop that 4th command center at 6 minutes Oliveira style before building a 4th and 5th barracks. Don't go 4th and 5th barracks and 2nd factory, then 4th command center. Or go for an 8 racks, hit a tight timing attack, hit a sharp push, try to take advantage. I imagine Dark, right? So Dark went super greedy double upgrades game 1. Game 2 there, he kind of leaned back from the greed a lot against that 2-1-1 opening. He sat on 55 drones, even went down to like 52, just massing Zerglings with +1 carapace. And I think he thought maybe BYUN was going to go for like a big all-in or something like that. But I don't know what's going on, man. I feel like it's just a weird issue right now. Where you know, it's hard for BYUN to kind of go, what's he going to do? And I think you just have to pick a build and say, who knows what Dark's going to do? He's hard to pin down as a player. I am simply going to pick a build, optimize it, good for the map, and make it work. Now, Dark, I'm going to go for Ling Speed. He hasn't pulled off gas yet, so I imagine he's waiting to see if he sees barracks on the natural. And now that he sees no Reaper coming out, he's got to go, oh, no barracks here, okie doke. And I wouldn't mind him delaying Ling Speed. Pulls off gas now, doesn't start Ling Speed. He's going to go third hatchery before Ling Speed. I love it. If it was a 2-Rex Reaper, he'd optimize the Ling Speed. He'd prioritize that, do it first. But instead, he's going to go for that third hatchery while defending with the 4 Lings. Awesome opening from Dark. And a great way to get set up for a Ling Bane game. That third hatchery is on the way. Reaper. Ooh, I like that Reaper micro. Doesn't actually confirm any kills yet, though. And the Queen's about to come out. He's going to get... maybe none. Okay, he gets 1, 2. Ooh, okay, 2 kills. Not bad. 2 Zerglings do go down. Reaper's going to back off, sees the third hatchery. And of course, that Ling Speed. Yep, there we go. Ling Speed does start up. So, 3 Queens are coming out. 1 at the natural, 1 in the main. Drone's coming. Overlord's building at the right time as well. So he went straight for Queen into Overlord. You'll see he drones up to 36 here as the lava comes out. So 1 more lava comes out. It's going to go 36. And you're going to see it's like, oh, your supply blocked in a second now. But guess what? Overlord's popping. Starts a 4th Queen. He actually goes very early 4th Queen. Incredibly early 4th Queen in the main base. So very fast 4th Queen. That slows down your droning. A lot of players wait till 40 supply to start building extra Queens, but he built it on 36. Maybe even 35. You can see he's got extra lava sitting there. Does have another Overlord. It's a little late. Could build a few more, though, while he's waiting anyway. You can always just queue up extra Overlords. And oh, Roachwarren! Roachwarren, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd gas as well. We're doing a Ravagerling. 3rd gas. Yeah, he's doing a Ravagerling all in. Okay, so BYUN is going Hellion Banshee off of a 3rd command center. So BYUN does not have the fastest Banshee. This could work in his favor because this is a later Ravagerling. And there's more chance of his Banshee still being at home when the attack hits him. The real question is BYUN going to spot it. It's about 40 seconds until the Roaches are on the field, and they might. Usually on this map, you try to sneak out this bottom path. You go out this bottom side while the Hellions and Reapers are kind of veering between the middle and the right. You see, he darts in a little bit, though, so if he does that at the right time, he might catch Roaches going out that way. Sometimes the Roaches go around the north, but I feel like creep spread out front the 3rd is such a concern, and it's kind of the Hellions' job to clear that. So that's not a good path to sneak across, because the Hellion Reaper almost always is rotating to that angle very quickly. Cloak's on the way as well as the first Banshee. A lot of Hellions are building. Now, with this build, you got to be really careful, because if BYUN scouts it late, he might not realize what's happening. And if his Hellions get trapped on the outside of his base, the mass Ling is a problem. If your Hellions are behind a wall off, Lings can't really engage. You need the Roach Ravager to clear the Hellions, then the Lings can flood in and kill everything else. So that's kind of the dynamic is you need Banshees to kill Roaches, Hellions to just stop the Lings from collapsing on top. And man, these Roaches are getting by. Let's go to BYUN's camera. BYUN has no idea. BYUN has no idea at all. Oh no, he has no idea, guys. He does have Banshees at home, though. Second one's going to pop out as this arrives. Dark supply blocked. Dark forgot his Overlords! Oh no, he's building 3 Overlords. Guys, he's meant to be building 4 Ravagers right now. 4 to 5 Ravagers are meant to be morphing. He's also meant to be making 10 more Zerglings, but he can't do it. So he's having to show his hand so early. And without, you're meant to have 50 Lings coming by, and he's only got 28 Lings. And the Lings are still at home. He doesn't have a single Ravager. The Banshee's at home. The second one's coming down. Oh, no. Oh, man. Guys, when was the last time Dark lost a StarCraft game? Not to his own supply blocks, but to his opponent actually beating him. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to be fair, I don't think it was going to go well, even with the Ravagers there. Supply block just made it worse. I mean, you know, actually, there's an argument that supply block made this better for Dark, because now he doesn't end up wasting the money on the Ravagers, right? So he invests less, and then when he gets on supply block, the attack's already held. So rather than building more Lings, he goes back to droning sooner. Saving grace, guys. Silver lining. Dark supply blocked himself from overcommitting to a bad attack that wouldn't work against the double Banshee defense. Just just Dark things. Dark is making 3 Ravages and waiting with Lings. Now, you should hide these, wait for BYUN to move out to take the 3rd, and then ambush him. If you can surround the Hellions, no, you're never going to kill a bunker. What are we doing, Dark? Dark! The Mad Dog! And he just lost 13 drones to the Banshees. Oh no, the Marine Hellion's causing him trouble. If the Marine Hellion gets surrounded, he's trying to bait him with the Ravages so hard, but the Marine stem, 2 Ravages go down, get back up to the ramp. The Lings not able to get the ramp around. Oh, Dark is, if he's digging for something, he's not finding anything right now, guys. He's digging for gold and he's just finding boogers. He's equal workers. Roach speed's just started. Double Evo chambers just started at 645. He's got 65 drones with no 4th hatchery on the way. He's sending a drone to build it now. This is a hot mess of a game. And let's just check, because sometimes when you're defending an attack like that, mistakes happen. BYUN's a little supply blocked, but he's got depots finishing. Damn. Oh my God. Random pain in my side. Ow. What the hell, guys? That was okay. You guys ever... I don't get random pains very often, but that was a Yachi. Look forward to people medically diagnosing me in the comment section after. Random pains could be a sign of gut cancer, Pig. You should go get checked. No, I'm not. Shh, it's fine. It's all fine, guys. Random pain went away. It's all good. No, his production's good. 5 racks, 1 factory, 1 starport, 1 upgrades are done. Combat shields isn't quite there. He's going to push in. No medevacs. They're a little far behind. Oh, we've got a tank, though. He does have a tank. Combat shields is almost here. No extra barracks just yet. SCVs and Marines block the Ling run by. You can see he's putting his tank up in this little area. Nice. Oh, canceling the 4th's going to be a good move. Dark does have a 5th up top, though. So Dark, I think, should just give this up. Oh, my gosh. The Marine Hellbat just dives. Double upgrade advantage. Combat shields is here as well. He's already got the Hellbats guarding him, so he doesn't even really need the shields until the Hellbats are dead. Nice. Clears all the creep. Scan goes down again. The tank in the back did get cleaned up by the Zerglings. They came in from the flank. The Banshees here as well, though. There's just not enough firepower from these Roaches. And without Carapace, they just can't stand up to the firepower of the Terran. And this was just a Roach Ling build gone wrong. I think he was hoping BYUN would not play Banshee, but everyone is so afraid of all the Ravager Ling-Orns he's been doing. They're playing Banshees. They're keeping them at home. Add to that a supply block, which meant it really was a pretty flaccid timing attack, even if it was like not a Banshee opening. I think BYUN may have held on quite okay, just using the ramp, getting his Hellions together with any Marines and SCVs, just simply because the supply block on 82. I mean, it's funny as well, because I've done that so many times. I don't do Ravager Ling timings very much, so when I do, it's always kind of off-the-cuff thing, and I'm focusing more on hiding the fact that I'm doing it rather than optimizing it. And you'll be rallying across, you're like, sweet, time to morph Ravages and rally some more Lings. And then you realize your supply block, and you realize it's going to delay your whole attack 25 seconds. And it's an attack where like 5 seconds late on the attack often means it won't work. 10 seconds late, definitely it won't work. 25 seconds late on the attack is like, well, this is just 0% chance of working. And it's so rare to see a player as good as Dark have that issue. To be fair, not that rare for Dark himself, though, right? The man of supply blocks. It is his special power. Roach Ravager. Dude, they're so outnumbered. There's so many Marines. There's like 3 Marines for every Roach. 3 Marines for every Roach is not a fair fight. And they're absolutely gunning it down, smashing it. Hydra's dying as they pop out. Tank's in good position. Dark has to tap out. BYUN will not go down without a fight. All right, so the all-in didn't work out. Doesn't mean it was a bad idea. I like Dark mixing that in. He had a lot of success against Maru and a lot of other top Terrans with these sort of builds recently. I think he should keep trying them. I'm not saying this game, but best of 5, always mix that in. Maybe don't get supply blocked, but just mix it in. I like that he's playing, with no caution. Just free-willed, see what sticks, throw wild moves at your opponent. That's when Dark plays his best StarCraft in. Now on Alcyon, a fantastic map for balanced back and forth play on both sides. BYUN's going to go for the Reaper expand. Honestly, not my favorite build. There were times when this looks amazing, and there's times where it looks appallingly bad. If there's a player I can always get behind this opening on, it's like BYUN, but I think I kind of prefer it when he goes 3-Rex Reaper. I think I like it when he's like, I'm going to build 12 Reapers and micro... just something a little bit crazy. I do wonder if we should see a bit more proxy Marine. I feel like a lot of Terrans, when they feel like applying pressure and throwing a Zerg off balance, because they feel so comfortable with this 2-Rex Reaper, it's almost become the default, whereas I think the 2 or 3-Rex Marine proxy is something that demands a lot more fear from the Zerg. And I think it's too easy to fall into the trap of going, oh, but this is safer. Yeah, it's safer. It also doesn't get as much of a response from the Zerg. It doesn't have nearly as much potential payoff. So that's one thing I think all Terrans are maybe forgetting about and they need to bring back into their play is start doing those proxy marine bunker pushes again. That's such a good way to take out a Zerg. And we all know it's Rogue's big weakness, right? Even Rogue's back from the military, but it's the same as always. He's so weak to proxy barracks. Maybe the other Zergs are just better against it in the meantime, but feels like Rogue always is drone scouting for it. Dark never drone scouts for it. He's just like, yeah, I'll pull the boys and figure it out. But I think Rogue always pulls his drones too far, whereas Dark will pull a few drones, then a few more, then a few more. It's like a very advanced, down to the second, with 3 different waves of drone pulls to it, and then fighting with his Zerglings and Queens. So he kind of figures that out quite well. Dark's not the sort of player you see die to that very often, but picking that against a Solar, against a Rogue, definitely good to mix in there. 2 Reapers into Reactor Tech Lab, guys. 2 racks into Reactor Tech Lab. No 3rd Reaper. What the heck? All right, let's see how Dark handles this. Dark's known for getting distracted and supply blocked while he's dealing with these. He still hasn't built his Overlord. He's only on 26 supply. He's building more Lings right now. Why is he not droning or building Overlord? Dark, what are we doing? Dark, what are we doing? He's also leaving his Overlord here. You got to run that away before the Marines come out. Dark is still not building an Overlord. What is this opening? Dark, this is so bad. Supply blocked for 20 seconds. I've seen him do this. He did the exact same thing against BYUN's 3-Rax Reaper on this map in Dallas. It was terrible. Oh my gosh, now he's going to lose the Overlord. The barracks just lives on. Dark, you're up 2-1. You were up 2-0. Why? Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying, man. I don't know. Knowing Dark, he'll just come back and crush this game. This is a disaster of an opening. He's so far behind. So he was supply blocked from just forgetting to build his Overlord. Then the Overlord dies as his new one to pop out replaces it. So he's just perma supply block. He's fine. Guys, at 310, you can have your natural saturated with a 15-15. 320 if you're playing a 16 hatch. It's 330. He's only got 10 workers here, many of which are only now rallying from the main. He's only really had 7 workers there. Oh my gosh. It's going to be 4 minutes before he gets his natural filled with workers against a 2 Reaper opening. Huge misplays for Dark this game. This is very, very bad opening. I know I talk about his openings. You guys are like, but we just see him win all the time. Anyway, I want to exaggerate it this time. I want you to understand, or not exaggerate, but amplify it and make sure you realize this is a disastrous start. He should be in the 40s of workers by now, and he is nowhere near. He's also building extra Zerglings. Why is he building Lings this early? I guess he wants to surround these Marines, but I don't know. This seems like a very risky maneuver. He could counterattack, but the Wall-off is up. Marines and Reapers hit the middle. I like the Ling on the... That stopped him from seeing these other Zerglings sneak through because it denied Watchtower vision. Comes in with the Lings, but there are Marines there. These guys going to pull back as well. 7 more drones now building off 36 workers at 4.5 minutes. Oh, man. Only 13 in the natural. Dark, mate. Stop building Zerglings. What are you doing? Okay, I think he's fallen into the trap now where he thinks this is like a crazy fast Marine rush and he feels like he needs to build Zerglings, but he's kind of trapped where he doesn't have enough Lings to take a fight. He also doesn't have enough economy to be in a position comfortable playing the longer game. Now he finally holds the drone key down, goes for a single Evo chamber, but this is a very rough opening. Luckily, BYUN's making a little mistake there, not rallying his 3rd command center as well. And we've got the double engineering bay on the natural. Starport's going to swap over in that main base. Ooh, this is uncharacteristic for BYUN. Not noticing that idle worker button flashing right now with 2 idle SCVs. Oof. 3 now. Maybe give Dark a little bit of a chance to get back in the game. Maybe. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Double medevacs on the way. Double upgrades coming in. 4 SCVs now idling. Well, it's going to be interesting to see when he realizes that. Reaper's going to pull back. Zerglings will get us around. 4th hatchery on the left side as well. I still can't believe we saw 18 Swarm Hosts against Bio. It's been a long time since I saw Swarm Hosts versus a non-mech composition in ZVT. Seeing them against Bio is crazy. Lair is on the way. I like to do that sometimes, but if I'm playing someone who's like 6k MMR or above, it almost always backfires because the Swarm Host is so low momentum, low pressure, and that your opponent just kind of shoves on creep and clears it. But you can kind of see just how defensive focused BYUN was earlier in the series, and how Dark took advantage of that now. Big Marine medevac push out. This is a lot of Marines, guys. He's got 24 Marines, 2 medevacs. 1-1 is going to finish in about 15 seconds. A few Marines do get caught on the outside of the wall, but he's going to have more Marines. He can pull SCVs to repair as well. The Lings will have to come back. This is a massive push. What have we got to defend? 10 Queens. Okay, only 8 of them on the front. Needs to pull the rest. He's got mass transfuse and a lot of Zerglings. Wait, only 26 out. And no upgrades. Carapace is still 30 seconds away. Carapace is really late this game, guys. 1 Queen goes down. Queens go after the medevacs. The Lings need a good fight. Good transfuses. Good transfuses. Not the best Ling angle, though. The Marines are in a nice corner. The Lings can't do anything there. Oh, not a good fight angle for Dark. His Lings just getting obliterated by the 1-1 Marines. Dude, the medevacs might be able to kill all the Queens. 1 medevac still up. Dark just has to tap out. A hot mess of a game for him. BYUN is very happy to capitalize. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach that Dark was just throwing this series. He was making such big mistakes. I was like, no, don't do this. Clean it up. Don't lose focus. You know, it happens. You lose focus. Momentum goes the other way. And now I see Amphion and I go, oh, it doesn't matter. I haven't seen Dark lose on Amphion in months. He beat Maru at Dallas on this map. He beat Clem on this map recently. He's beaten everyone. He never loses this map. And it's why I'm always confused that it's game 5 that it comes out. It always comes out at the end of a series, game 5, game 3 occasionally. And then he loses his map picks earlier in the series, and then he'll go and win this one. Even though neither player picks it, it just ends up coming out last. I guess it's not the most comfortable for Zerg, because there are some nice drop pods. But, oh, pool first. Hello. You know what's cool? Dark always goes hatch gas pool on this map. The last, like, maybe 9 out of 10 times he's played this, hatch gas pool. He goes 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool, which is considered pretty greedy because the Reaper normally gets in and does early damage. But he just micros his way out of it, ends up in an okay position, especially like when Clem plays him. Clem is so busy trying to block his third that he doesn't get as much drone damage as he otherwise would. Because the Reaper rush distance, there's this little ledge just down here. You can jump across. You can kind of follow this little narrow path between your bases. Sorry, guys, just doing my drag scrolling, not having a big enough space on my desk on this sensitivity. And is this a third hatchery? No, it's just an overlord going up. Okay, so check this out, guys. So he's going to go spawning pool 6 Zergling pressure, and this is all predicated on BYUN not scouting. BYUN's not going to scout. BYUN's not going to scout. A lot of Terrans would scout in this position. Maru or Kua might, but not BYUN. BYUN's going to go straight commands, and he's going to rely on his Reaper. His Reaper's going to arrive at the other side of the map, and as it hops up and goes in, he's going to see the hatchery and go, oh, crap, turn around. But by that point, the Lings will already be running in, killing this SCV. And he's going to have to fight with the Marine that pops out after. And he's going to have to pull a bunch of SCVs. So you want to pull usually like 7 or 8 SCVs, pull a good pack. And it's very important not to lose your Marine. So if your Marine is down here chasing this Overlord, you need to react so quickly. If the Marine dies, you're in big doo-doo. Third hatchery gasless. Wow. You guys have to understand, if these 6 Lings get shut down by a Reaper and BYUN's build is tight, he will punish you. Your Ling speed is going to be so late. But if this goes well with the 6 Lings, he's going to have the greediest follow-up ever, and it's going to turn into a winning position. He sees the hatcheries late, immediately runs away. BYUN, you gotta run the Marine as well. He's a bit slow to react. BYUN leaves the Marine out in the open. He saw the hatchery, reacted quickly with the Reaper, but he didn't pull the SCV or the Marine straight away. The Marine goes down. Oh, the SCVs are getting wrecked. Remember, you need to pull a lot of SCVs and have the Marine fighting in order to do this. Those 2 Lings splitting off. He's got one going after this SCV as well. SCV up the top goes down. Don't tell me he's going to get another 4 SCVs, a Marine, and a 5th. No, BYUN focus fired that with his... Oh, actually, his Marine auto-fired it. Nicely done. But look, his command center is not building. He hasn't had his 3rd command center started yet. This is a huge disruption. And that means you don't have your Hellions building yet, right? The reactor's late. The factory swapping over is late. So because of that, you don't have a Hellion counterattack. Whereas otherwise, if 4 Hellions come in at 3:45 this game, 4 minutes, what do you got to defend this? You're going to have 3 Queens and no Ling speed? They're just going to dart in and ruin your day. Dark's build is so disgustingly greedy. This is so abusive, and it only works against a guy who is famous for not scouting and who is encouraged to not scout because he's watched your recent games on this map, and he knows Dark's going to go hatch gas pool. I'll do a bit of Reaper harassment. I'll be a little greedy, skip the scout to get a bit of an advantage. And the last thing BYUN was expecting was to be taken advantage of like that. BYUN needs to play like a beast now. Dark just needs to, you know, macro up correctly and swarm. He's going to hit a 42 supply block with 7 lava, a massive supply block. So, well, he's doing what he can to help BYUN out in that regard. To be fair, it's a bit of an unpracticed build order. I doubt he's done this 6 Lings into fast third hatch that many times. Is easy to get distracted. Your supply counts are a little odd, a little funny. There we go. Does start building 4 drones, 2 more Queens still. Supply blocked. That's 2 more Overlords do build. Finally gonna get out of the supply block for good in a moment. And a few Zerglings building, just in case those Hellions try to run past. Remember what I said, 345 if there's 4 Hellions? That's one thing. Right now there's 2 Hellions and a Reaper. They could still run past, but the chances of them doing big damage are pretty low. Stim comes in, 2nd and 3rd barracks goes down behind. 3rd command center is in location. It looks like BYUN's going to float this out to the left. Now, I like the expand to the left style in theory. The problem against Dark is very good at grabbing his whole army and just smashing it through whatever you wall off here. So, it doesn't work as well on this map because your add-ons are always on the outside. I feel like maybe wall off with engineering bays, but then your upgrades are exposed. The problem with having a depot wall here is it's too easy to bust. But I don't think you have a better option. Because if you leave your add-ons on the outside of the wall, that's really bad as well. You could try to double depot wall, but sometimes Banelings hitting the front depot will also hit the back depot, just depending on like the angle they're blowing up on. So double depot wall is kind of gimmicky as well. But we'll see what he does. Either way, for Dark, the secret is going to be splitting army around the right, smashing the ramp while defending on the left and just stalling him out. I imagine Dark expands to the 4th base over here, 5th base in the corner, and just kind of expands away from BYUN because you want space as a Zerg. You want to use that mobility as best you can. Double Evo goes down nice and early. He's loving these double upgrades. Just after 5 minutes, they drop. It's not as crazy fast as other games, but you got to realize, I mean, it's been a bit of a different early game, right? The gas is later. BYUN's build is slowed down. So I kind of think of these Evos as being similar to like 4-minute 40 evolution chambers, even though they only went down at about 505. That's kind of a good way you can think about StarCraft is like, oh, he did a 12 pool and killed 3 probes and I had to delay my Nexus a little bit. You know, if there's something that slows down the early game with a lot of fighting or aggression between the two of you, you can kind of just delay 30 seconds to all your timings. You can be like, oh, normally I want my 3rd base full of workers by 5 minutes, say. And you say, well, in this case, because that early game, I'll make it 5:30, right? To kind of your benchmarks and your ways of judging where you are in the game, you just add 30 seconds to kind of account for that. It's rough, but it's a good place to get started to help you have more flexible thinking as a StarCraft player. 5 racks coming in, extra reactors there. Hellion and a Reaper, hello. Hello! Great little surround. 2 Hellions and a Reaper are going to go down. They're going to get 1, 2... Only a couple Zerglings, 2 or 3, not very many. Guys, what is this 5th base? This is the same thing he did on Post-Youth at the start, where he builds a hatchery in like the dumbest position ever. You know they're going to take a base in front of you. You know this is an easy kill. I don't know if this is just to like bait the Terran into attacking it. Because surely the middle hatchery or the one on the bottom right has got to be a better choice than this to defend. There's no way you're ever going to defend this hatchery. You're not going to fight down this ramp. Well, he's going to buy a bit of time with the Queen Ling perhaps. And he goes, yeah, not worth it. I think this is the main thing Dark does really well recently is not taking bad fights. A lot of Zergs, they just get too stubborn. They're like, I gotta fight. But Dark is so happy to cancel his 5th base so many times in these games. As long as he doesn't take any sloppy army versus army trades, he's all good. Armory's coming in. We should see 2-2 start up for BYUN. How far behind is BYUN really? What's the brass tacks of that 6th Ling pressure early? Well, I mean, you're still up in upgrades, but you got to actually start 2-2. 1-1's closing in on the Zerg. Dark's been really good at starting those upgrades. BYUN needs to start 2-2. He's going to go 8 racks right now, guys. 3 more barracks. Where are they? They're out at the 3rd base. So he's going to go 8 racks. Marine tank medevac. His 2-2 has now started up. I haven't seen 8 racks on this map. I don't know how well it performs on Amphion. Dark's only on 71 drones. He's not on a very big work account. That's a very Dark thing to do. Slow, low work account, right? 73 drones, especially when you've got this much of an advantage from the early game. Most people would go 80, 85, 90, but Dark, he turns his advantages into army advantages, and then he uses that army advantage to pound you. That's like, there's Zergs. They'll be like, oh, I shall slowly establish economic dominance over you and impose favorable trade agreements. Meanwhile, Dark's a friggin' Mongol, man. He's like ancient Mongol. He's like Genghis Khan. You know, there's modern people like, oh, we would like favorable corporate deals over your natural resources. You know, that's the 21st century, 20th century way of doing things. Dark's like, capitulate now or I'm going to burn down your entire city and kill all of your people. All of them. And I'm going to salt the earth and nothing will ever grow here again, you know? Dark's a man who uses his advantage to make a giant Ling Bane army. I do like that BYUN has a tank there. I don't think Dark should go in. He's going to do it anyway. He doesn't care. He sends Lings first to take the first tank shot. Good tank focus fire on the Banelings. Very good. There's not many Marines here to guard. He needs more units. He's not F2ing. There's Marines over on the bottom left. They're not moving on the minimap. They're not attacking. They're not defending. He doesn't have enough to defend. The Ling Bane is going to cleanse that mineral line. Oh, no. Dark, look at this. He's catching so much damage while BYUN is just chilling. BYUN's just chilling with that front army. He's trying to defend with what he's got here. He should have F2'd home. Oh, this might not have been too bad, but losing so many more. If it was 15 workers, I can see the 8 racks being powerful. But if you lose 15 workers and even more, this is now a disaster. Oh, gee, Willikers. Oh, gee, Rick, that's a lot of Zerg, man. Oh, yeah, the intergalactic police are here right now, or interdimensional police, whatever you want to call them. And they are sending 4,000 insects to deal with you. The Ling's derping out a little bit there. He's going to group them up. Remember what I said? Dark's very good at grabbing his whole army and going around the side. A lot of players, they get stuck fighting in one direction. Like, I can imagine Cyril on this map just fighting into the choke point repeatedly and actually losing games on this map, because Cyril's the kind of guy who likes to fight front on, but Dark is so infinitely flexible, and he's just like, me, take good fight only. And he's basically refusing to fight on that left side. He's saying, if you want to fight on that left side, you have to step into my natural, where all the positional advantage disappears. Baneling's wrecking SCVs and Marines. This is where the positional advantage disappears, because now you're pushing on creep. Now you're pushing into a bit more of an open area. There are 2 tanks in the back. The Ling Bane closes in, and he just clears the front line, pulls back. Gets rid of the tank. There's still 2 tanks. But you know what? Dark's on 72 workers. You're on 13. It's BYUN. Your job is to force the fight. Dark knows this. He's like, you have to come to me. If you don't break me right now, you're dead. Your production's ransacked. Your natural's gone. Your third's gone. And Dark, with a genius opening, wins with the build order. I love it. Is it a gamble? Of course it's a gamble. 16 spawning pool. This is 6 Lings. It's a big commitment. Going for the 3rd hatch after is a double down on the gamble? In game 5, that's the sort of gambling that, you know? Big risk, big reward. What time did this hatchery go down? 1:50. My gosh. I guess 2 minutes when he gets 300 minutes. This is so greedy. It's so greedy. But the payoff is monumental. If you ruin their build order, that's big. Now, I guess if we want to just give one last actionable kind of thing watching this, because a lot of people go, what could he have even done? He saw this, immediately turned around, and he doesn't run his Marine away. He runs his Marine forward. Huge mistake. Yeah, he just thought those Lings were going to be a little slower, and he looked up at his main to pull the SCVs, and his Marine should have pulled back. Just a mistake from BYUN to run his Marine forward. He thought, I spotted this early enough, I can run forward with the Marine, and then I'll have time to grab these SCVs, get back to my natural, and then micro the Marine back. But losing the Marine means he lost his firepower, meant he's also more frantically microing his other units, which meant he couldn't pull back the weak SCVs. Should have pulled more SCVs and pulled back his Marine. If he does that, he doesn't lose these 4 workers, and I'm telling you, 4 workers this early, as well as the delay on the command center, is absolutely massive. This is game-changing. GG, well played. Dark gets the 3-2, and is yet again the champion of another weekly comp. Well played, Dark.